Hi everyone, my name is Ayush, and I recently got very interested in the idea of life after death, which is also known as the afterlife. So, to gain a better perspective on this, I approached Dr. Devaria with some questions that I had prepared, and this is how the interview proceeded. Hi, would you please enlighten us on life after death?
Yeah,
So, my first question is, what is the meaning of life after death?
yeah. Life after death is a contradiction in itself because if there is life after death, then there is no death, there is continuity of life. So, in West, people have coined a new phrase life after life. They don't say life after death, but life after life. And some people are still using the phrase life after death. The antiquity of the concept, it is some 4 to 5,000 years of time that our people, especially Indians, were aware of the life after death, because we have references to life after death in our scriptures, and the most significant work is Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, you have the story of Nachiketa, and Nachiketa's father was donating cows to certain people, Brahmins, as an act of a great act of donation. So most of the cows were not healthy. So his son Nachiketa asked him a question that, Papa, why are you donating these cows? So he said, okay, you keep quiet, you won't understand. Then he asked Papa, oh, they don't, they used some other word for Papa. I'm just for elaboration saying Papa. So he said, will you be donating me also to someone? So to this, Nachiketa's father said, yes, I'll give you to the Yamraj. And for non-Indians audience, we may clarify that Yamraj is god of death in Hindu mythology. So in Hindu mythology and scriptures, there is a concept of hell and heaven, which is also there in Christian mythology, and to some extent is Judaism. And Judaism is the religion of Jews, and the Abrahamic religions, means those religions which originated in Middle East, are referred to as Abrahamic religion or Semitic religion, because the first religion was Judaism, and the prophet of Judaism was Abraham. So subsequently, from the bosom of Judaism, another religion emerged, and that is Christianity. And after Christianity, there was advent of Islam, but their mythology is the same. Hebrew mythology or Arabian mythology, you may say. So, as per the Hebrew mythology, the life on earth began with Adam and Eve, whereas Hinduism doesn't have such concept of Adam or Eve. So, the most powerful work of Judaism which is still available is Kabbalah. And Kabbalah had some magic formulations to contact with the paranormal, or with those who were rather those who were humans sometimes and now they died, but through Kabbalah they could contact with those souls. So Kabbalah is considered to be the first book of occult or of magic or of contacting life or after, or the book that refers to the uh, life after death, or those entities who once existed as humans but they died, but they still have an existence on some plane. So we may call them ex-humans, but in occult there is a term called paranormal. Paranormal means there is a parallel world to our world. Para is the short form of parallel. So paranormal world is a world which is parallel to our world, and we can't see it because it is not part of our world. It's a different world, and through certain magic formulations, Jews used to be in touch with the souls. Similarly, Christianity also developed some occult. Christian priests also established certain prayers and certain ways and means to contact the departed ones. But in Hinduism, we have we can say in Hinduism, we have the oldest tradition of evidence of life after death. And among Hindus, it is believed that when the physical body is cremated, then life remains in a subtler body. And that subtler body is not the final shape of existence of ex-human, but that subtler body also dissolves in due course. And it is believed that it is dissolved within 13 days after one's death. But this is as per Hindu mythology. Westerners need not believe it because it's again a system of belief, tradition and conviction. So among Hindus, it is believed that the subtler body that remains after physical body is referred to as astral body.
Astral body.
Astral body. So man or woman or whosoever dies after 30, immediately after death, it meanders in subtler form, and after within a course of say 13 days or 14 days, that subtler body dissolves. Which body? The body which we refer to as astral. And when the astral body is dissolved, there appears another subtler body which is called we have first body is our physical, second is astral, and third is mental. Mental means thought waves. The body, when astral body is dissolved, the subtler body that comes out of the astral body, astral shell is finished, and the body that comes is still subtler and referred to as mental body. Why? Because this existence is the existence of thoughts with which one remained obsessed during his lifetime. So it is more or less a theoretical existence. So it is referred to as mental world. So first world is physical, second world is astral, third world is mental. And after some time, there is no exact information as to after how many months of breakup of astral body, mental will be liberated. But approximately, depending upon one's conviction of his thoughts, if one considers his thoughts real, then he may prolong indefinitely in that world. And the moment he becomes conscious that there is nothing real, it's only thought, it's only memory. So when the being becomes conscious of this, then that mental body is also dissolved. And within the shell of mental body, there is still a subtler body. That is called causal, Causal, causal body. So after liberation from mental body or after dissolution of the mental body, the being enters into the causal body, and causal, just as we have physical world on the earth, that slightly above the earth we have astral world, and slightly above that we have mental world, and beyond mental we have causal world. So in causal world also, causal world refers to the cause. So for some time the being remains in causal world and in the causal body, and it is referred to as causal because it is from this world one is reborn as human. So it is cause of rebirth. The causal body, depending upon one's conditioning with his thought or with his convictions, when one is liberated from mental body, one enters causal body, and in causal body it is revealed that the shells are over, and now I can be reborn. This sort of feeling or this sort of information, this sort of revelation comes to the being, and after causal body, one may be reborn. And if one doesn't want to be reborn, if one doesn't qualify for rebirth, then what happens? Within the causal body, there is a spiritual body.
The soul.
Causal, you see, there are many terms referred to this. Just as I said, from physical to mental, physical to astral, astral to mental. And they say that between causal and mental there is supracausal, there is supramental. Or if one escapes that, then after causal there is a supracausal state of existence. And these all states of existence are contained within a shell. Once a shell is dissolved, once somebody dies in physical body, so physical body cannot be restored. Once the shell of astral body bursts, it cannot be reconstructed. Similarly, and within the astral, when the mental body bursts, it cannot be recreated. And then in the causal body, one has the potential either to try it for rebirth, or if he doesn't have quest for rebirth, then it meanders for indefinite time. And in between, after causal, there is the spiritual body. The body after causal is referred to as a spiritual body. But some occultists have said that between causal and spiritual there is one more, which is supracausal. Supracausal is the stage of causal body when one realizes whether to continue. If he doesn't want to be reborn, then he continues, and if he wants to be born, he is reborn. And how he is reborn? He means it could be she also, because there is no gender. What happens? One has some accumulated convictions of his immediate birth. One died, so before his death he had some convictions, some thoughts, some certain certain visuals which with the help of which he could visualize his existence. So, according to some occultists, there is supracausal state. So, if one doesn't want to be born and he meanders, he is not liberated either, neither is born nor liberated, then the being realizes that yeah, I should either be born or I should be liberated. So, at this stage, one may come in contact with others from the causal world who died before him. So, on the basis of their experience, they guide that if you want to be reborn, please do it, otherwise, you will continue to meander. And why you will continue to meander? Because your deeds in the latest birth, the past birth, immediately before entering into the astral body, whatever birth you had, in that body, your deeds do not qualify for liberation. Because birth is birth and death. Between birth and death, there is a chain of cause and effect.
Can we call this karma also?
Karma, you can say karma. So there is a chain of cause and effect. So if one comes in contact with some seniors in the causal world, so they may reveal that why you have to be reborn, or they may reveal that if you don't want to be reborn, then we don't know how long you may have to wait. But if one has explored this aspect of life in his last birth, then perhaps he could get rid of that causal body and enter supracausal, which is still subtler. And when he is able to transcend supracausal body, he enters the spiritual body, which is the spiritual body is considered the ultimate body, but which is part of a collective spiritual world. Collective. When I say spiritual world, I don't mean the world of Babas and Sadhus. Spiritual world means the world where only spirits reside, and this phase of existence after supracausal is known as spiritual. And spiritual is the stage when one realizes that he is at a spiritual stage, one may realize that how long he has traveled and now what he wants to do. When one reaches a spiritual body, he regains the power of deciding, power of decision, whether if he wants to be reborn, he will be reborn. If he doesn't want to be reborn, he will merge with the spiritual world. And how will it merge with the spiritual world? When a drop of water joins ocean, then it has merged in ocean. So this merger in the spiritual world. And again, what is the spiritual world? Spiritual world is world of consciousness only, pure consciousness.
Pure awareness.
Pure consciousness, because awareness is through human organs, human brain. You don't have brain there. Brain is available only when so long as you are in physical body, you have the brain. And brain is the instrument that enables you to receive signals from the source of consciousness. After death, if you want to receive signals and if you want to do something, so you don't have brain. When you were cremated, brain was burned. When you were buried, it became defunct. It was eaten by moths. So it is no more. But pure awareness is there. Pure consciousness is there. So all these rishis, munis, highly evolved people, they were those people who returned from the spiritual world, who realized that so many people are still suffering, and I have realized the cause of suffering, because cause of suffering is linked with my deeds. So it is my duty that as I was guided by my elders in the causal world and supra-causal world, it is my duty to guide those who are presently in causal world or supra-causal world, and to tell them that liberation or rebirth is based on deeds. So by this time one is able to, in the spiritual world, the unit of consciousness, the departed person, is able to identify himself as drop as well as ocean. The moment it wants to merge with ocean, it is merged, it doesn't have a separate existence. And if it has the freedom to isolate from ocean. If it isolates from ocean, then again it is an individual entity. And if one decides that I don't want to continue in the present state of affairs and I want to reach my final destination,
Which is?
which is the seventh world, and that world is called monadic, M-O-N-A-D-I-C, monadic. Monadic means monad. Monad means one. Means if one is able to transcend the spiritual world, he becomes a monad. Monad means the single unit of consciousness, individual unit of consciousness, which is not required to take birth and which enjoys unlimited freedom as part of the source of consciousness, or occasionally as a different unit from that. But then there is no rebirth. If one has reached monadic stage, then one has no rebirth. Up to spiritual there is rebirth. If we say that this Buddha or Mahavir or Shankaracharya or these people, they were great. So they were great because they had reached that supracausal stage, that spiritual stage of existence where they realized that the way they have been meandering, so many human beings have been meandering, so they need some guidance, some help. So we may refer to them as prophets, we may refer to them as avatars, we may refer to them as gurus, we may refer to them as sages, rishis, munis. So that way. So, and now, but there is, as I told you last time, there is difference between the spiritual status of a prophet and that of an avatar. Avatar is one who is reborn from the sixth world, that is from the spiritual world. At that level also he has freedom to join the monadic one. But he realizes that I meandered for so many years. My fellow friends there is a hue and cry on earth. I must help them. I must tell them that what qualifies for liberation. So they come back and teach human beings, spread message against violence, message against killing, message against destruction. Those things they explain. They talk of virtue. So this duty, depending upon their willingness to mankind, they are given an opportunity by God or the source of consciousness to deliver the message that how can one be free from suffering, and how can one be free from the cycle of rebirths, birth, death, birth, death. Every time you are born, again you die, then you are born, again you die. So this was beautifully depicted by Shankaracharya, the first Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, we said. He had composed a sort of devotional song in Sanskrit that is known as Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj Govindam means remember God. Govinda should not mean only Krishna. Govind is a symbol for the ultimate God. So he says, Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatre Shayanam. Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. He says, if you don't learn, then your Punarapi Janmam means repeatedly you are born. Punarapi Maranam, repeatedly you die. And Punarapi Janani Jatre Shayanam. Janani is mother, Jathar is womb. So repeatedly you are destined to sleep in the womb of mother. So if you want to come out of this labyrinth, then the key is Bhaj Govindam. Bhaj Govindam means remember God. And when here Govind stands for the source of consciousness, Govind in this parlance is not a person. Although Krishna was a person and he had realized all this, so people, when Krishna was born, people didn't have the concept of astral and all that, because this terminology, astral, kajal, this terminology was developed by Theosophical Society. It had different names in Sanskrit. Sukshma Sharir, after physical body, they are referred to astral, mental, kajal, suprakajal, they are referred to as Sukshma Sharir. And kajal is referred to as Karan Sharir, because it becomes the Karan of your rebirth. So, when Theosophical Society was founded by Lady Blavatsky in 1885, Lady Blavatsky was a Russian lady, and she was a student of occult and life after death and tantra and so many such things which we do not know. So, with the help of Sanskrit Pandits, they understood the meaning of Sanskrit terms, and then they tried to coin English words. So English words were created as these 6-7 words, these astral, mental, kajal, suprakajal, spiritual and monadic. Monadic is the seventh, last. If you have entered the monadic world, then you are part of God. You are part of the source of consciousness, and at the same time, as and when you feel like separating for a moment, you can separate also and you may rejoin. So, but that world is beyond other relative worlds. From there, one doesn't come, because one reaches there only when one has realized the ultimate reality. Say persons like Buddha, persons like Krishna. Krishna had realized the ultimate reality even before his birth as Krishna.